Hi friends, welcome back to more F1 Manager 22. I was halfway through recording this episode and I had a power outage, so we are kind of stuck right here in the middle of practice, right going into qualifying actually. And no worries, I really didn't cover a ton of stuff before the race. I will talk a little bit after the race. I made some conversation about drivers and some scouting stuff, but the major thing you need to know for this race here at Italy is that I did install the new front wing and the new rear wing. So we are rolling with two brand new parts. We are rushing development of, I think, the side pods because we didn't have any simulator time. Again, we'll talk more about that after the race. Here at the end of practice session 3, we're at a pretty good spot. Kevin Magnussen with a 117.22. We're only about a tenth and a half off of Charles Leclerc. We're splitting the Ferrari front row here at their home race in Italy. Mick Schumacher, though, has not quite figured out the balance of the car yet. We are still trying to tweak that at the end of the practice session 3, so likely we're going to stick with what we've got at about an 80% confidence level. Moving into qualifying, of course, we do have our default incentive targets here, so if we qualify above 12th place with both drivers, we make a little bit of moolah. If we get a fastest lap during the race, we get some money, and then we also get some money if we make 2 races above 14th place in qualifying with at least one driver. Again, we are fighting against, I'm trying to bring up the race standings, but I don't think I have it. I believe we are fighting against Alfa Romeo. Not Alfa Romeo, sorry. I'm thinking AlphaTauri, yeah. So we are trying to basically beat AlphaTauri. That is where we're looking to improve overall because AlphaTauri is 14th, I think, in the standings. We are at 4th place. 4 points in the standings with McLaren right behind nipping on our heels. I do believe at practice session 2, we had a couple of crashes. Latifi as well as our good friend Pierre Gasly did a little bit of a runoff and smacked into the barrier, so that ended their practice session 2. But this practice session had no triple crashes, so no drivers ran into each other. We are at the point, by the way, in development where I believe if you early access the game, if you pre-order the game, you have early access to it. The game, though, does launch here in just a couple days, so I'm assuming we'll continue to get some patching right up until launch day with a day 1 patch. So good stuff. Circuit info, I'm going to give you a quick review of Italy since I did this before the race. It is a heavy corner type of circuit. So if we go over to the car attributes, it is telling us that cornering performance is very, very important here. Sector speed or sectors by speed. Take a look at the circuit map. There's only one DRS zone here, so DRS not quite as important. So if you happen to fall off from the car in front of you, there's really only one section here to kind of magnet pull you back in with that DRS. Expected strategies for the race, most are looking at a one-stop combo of either medium into hard or hard into soft, and then a 2-stopper with a soft, medium, medium type of run. Compound performance, this is what we're expecting from Pirelli. We've got the softs with pretty close performance here across the board. And at the end of the day, I mean, time loss from degradation. Oh, here we go. Sorry, average lap time is what I'm looking at. The soft tires don't have a massive performance increase. I think the mediums are almost better at this race just because of how long the mediums are going to last. So as you can tell, they're at about a 116.22. The soft tires are doing a 116. Oh, sorry, actually, the medium tire is the best tire right now, according to the data. So the medium tires are doing a 116.22. The softs are doing a 116.24. So in fact, the medium tires would be better, it looks like, for the race. Of course, what comes into play is accidents, how long you can run the mediums, what to run after the mediums. I think we do have to at least change tires once. I still haven't found that rule, but that's been a requirement in Formula One for quite some time, but I haven't seen it explicitly mentioned. All right, that is enough of that. Ooh, this is interesting. How many powertrain car parts each driver has used up to and including this race? Huh. Fascinating. So Red Bull apparently has already popped 2. Wow, that's actually awful for Max. He's into his second engine, his second gearbox, and his second, what is that? Is that the energy recovery system? Or is that just the electrical system overall? I think that indicates that they got a penalty of some part. Yeah, ERS. I don't know. I don't see a key as to why that's highlighted, but I assume that you're not able to run that many. Maybe they've already had to replace their ERS in a previous race. Kind of fascinating. So we're doing okay. Although, to be fair, I've not really looked into our specific part performance yet. That's actually a really good point. I really need to take a look at the... Oh, God. Yeah, that's awful. You know what? Now, so basically at this point, Kevin is our best driver. He's getting the best times here. He is a full 0.5 faster than Mick throughout practice in terms of the fastest lap here. As you can see, he has an 87% confidence with this setup. So I kind of wondered, now if we change the gearbox though, isn't that going to just wreck isn't that going to mess up our parts, or no, because it's the same style? It's the same design of part. 43% is not great, and the engine isn't great either. Now, looking at the rest of the grid, I don't know at what point do we need to replace the part. I'm assuming that the game is going to kind of give us a hint as to when it's time to change your powertrain parts. Ferrari still hasn't replaced anything. Really, Red Bull, Williams has made a replacement. I wonder if that's because of an accident also. We have had a couple of crashes. Keep that in mind. We are an accident-prone team. So maybe that means we had a more severe degradation of that part. So just because no one else has done it doesn't mean that we, should ignore that. We're such a good spot. We just had a good new wing installed, both front and rear wing. I almost want to try to take the risk and replace the gearbox and see what happens. What does this do? We've replaced the gearbox. Does it break our confidence? No. It doesn't change the driver setup. That's great. In that case, should we also replace the engine? I think let's try it. Let's try to set Kevin up with the best possible setup he can have. The ERS, I think, is still okay. And also, I don't know. I guess it's okay. I don't think it's going to be giving us any issues. I wonder if it's a chance of failure or if you just have a degradation over each lap. Well, let's send Kevin out here with the best parts he can have because he's doing so well this weekend. This is a really good chance for us to surprise everyone and place in a much better spot than, we theoretically should. We didn't quite get that set up. I mean, 79% is pretty good. 80% is pretty good. We didn't quite get it locked in. I'm going to keep it as is for now and move into qualifying one. Sorry, that's a lot of pre-information, but I really feel guilty about having that power outage and I lost half of my stupid setup. All right, Kevin, let's go ahead and get out there. We'll let the AlphaTauri go out first. Give a little bit of space here. Oh, hurry up and get out before they do. Do we make it out in front of them or no? We did. Cool. So we have the clean air. Sucks for you, McLaren. And then we'll go ahead and send Mick out as well. All right. I will talk you through Q1 of qualifying since I have a lot more time to work with now. I was basically saying before this race that, it's a lot. These episodes are a lot of a time investment, which is fine because I love playing this so far. It's just that it's like 2 hours or so to do a full episode in terms of recording. So I really have to cut back on my practice and qualifying commentary and focus on the race and the strategy and, what we're doing to the car, the design and aspects of everything else. Both Kevin and Mick managed to get out in relatively clean air, it looks like, which is pretty fantastic. Let's see how Kevin does with his first... Oh, I'm completely behind on everything. Apparently, they've already put in their first lap. Kevin is at a 116.48. I think 117.2 was his previous best time. That's fantastic. Nicely done, sir. Mick, meanwhile, is only 0.7 off the pace. Not terrible, not fantastic either. Let's let the track get rubbered up a bit, although it looks like there's no real difference in terms of track grip. I'm a little surprised at that. It's almost like throughout practice, it stays rubbered up, it stays the same level, but then in qualifying, it's just at a steady spot. Like this doesn't change throughout the entirety of qualifying. I'm taking a little bit too much time talking. We need to get the drivers back out on the track. Let us reconfigure. I'll keep the same set of softs since that's still a pretty good tire. Yeah, pretty good quality tire. I think I actually had New compound is... What's happening here? Yeah, same thing. Oh, I was hovering over a bad compound. That's why. Okie dokie. Get back out there, my friends. See if we can't block someone else's lap, too. So we are 6th place now. Kevin still in the top 10. That is fantastic. Again, anything that's this high up for Haas Racing is a splendid job. Yellow, by the way, I think I looked this up. Yellow timing indicates that it's one of the poor sectors. It's worse than the best time. Right now, Kevin is on an improved lap, so he might actually increase in positions here. Yep, sure enough, he moved up to 4th place in Q1. Mick, however, is, I can't see because of the pop-up, he's sitting there at 12th place. So, on the bubble is Zhou Guanyu. We've got Hamilton. What? Hamilton surely is going to make a better pass here. Let's see if we can't do anything to improve Mick's performance. I could tweak the car a little bit. I could tweak the front wing. That's the only thing I could tweak. That's already at optimal. I really don't think making a change at this point is going to be fantastic. And I really don't think we're going to get anything better out of Mick, to be honest. But you know what? Let's send him out anyways. I'm pretty happy with where Kevin is. We'll save the car. We'll send Mick out. He might not have gotten out of that fast enough to make the start-finish line in order to make one more pass. Let's keep this little indicator over here on Kevin so I can see the timing screen. 4 seconds left. No, I don't think Mick... No, he did not make the start-finish line, so he's not going to get one more chance. And, however, he still made it into Q2 so far. I think Hamilton's going to pop up here. I would expect Vettel and the Williams drivers to not do so hot. So let's speed this up just a smidge. There was Hamilton coming out of the bottom.
I think there's been a lockup.
Oh, no. And Mick, sure enough, unfortunately, did get bumped down. So Mick is not in the next qualifying session. However, Kevin is on a bit of a tear, doing fantastically. Driver eliminated. There goes Mick. Farewell, Mick. However, Kevin Magnussen with a 116.39. Whoa, 115.42 with Charles Leclerc. And the rest of the teams are pretty close in on that number. But again, we're Haas. I have to keep repeating that as a mantra. We're Haas. It's, we're not expected to be a top team. It's okay. It's okay not to be amazing. We are moving into Q2. Let's go ahead and give him a brand new set of soft tires. We, of course, have one soft, one medium, one hard reserved for race. So I think a new soft would make sense here. Fairly happy on the setup. Let's move right into Q2. Actually, thinking about it...
Radio's good.
Radio's good. 40% chance of rain throughout this entire session. We'll go ahead and send him out early. Thinking about the track grip, I'm pretty sure that the other Formula 2 and Formula 3 races... I think Formula 2 follows Formula 1, right? I don't know if F3 does, but they generally have their races before. They're the, what is it, the feature race? They're the race before that basically rubbers up the track for Formula 1's qualifying. Maybe. I think that's how that works. Are we going to get out in front of everybody? Uh-oh. That wasn't great. We are going to get a little bit of traffic in the form of Ricardo. There's a 117.05. That is not great. That's not going to cut it, I don't think. By the way, news that I covered in... This will be like a Let's Play / Formula 1 news series. We are, this weekend in real life, here in 2022, we are going to Belgium. And the news this week is that Audi is going to be joining the Formula 1 circuit in 2026, which is exciting news. We also have... What other news did I hear? Ricardo is leaving McLaren. I don't actually know if he's going somewhere or if he's actually leaving a year early, which is not great. And I love... Like, how do you not love Daniel Ricciardo? He's just just a chill guy. But he has not had the best couple of seasons of his life. So here's to hoping he figures it out. We're going to go ahead and send Kevin out, hopefully without traffic, which is so far perfect. Nicely done, Kevin. Try to pull yourself out of the bottom 4 drivers, the bottom 5 drivers. And he did with a 116.396. Nicely done. However, everyone's first run, I think, is not that great. So maybe this isn't the best thing ever. Let's see what the next round of... Oh, hi. That was the session end right there. Oh, I'm a little bit bad on time. I get so excited about talking about Formula One things that I have not been paying attention. Well, I expect Gasly, Alonso, I expect Norris to do better than us. He did not. And we did make it through to Q3. Nicely done, Kevin. Excellent stuff. Happy to see our drivers in the top 10 start. Let's go ahead and move into qualifying 3, Q3. I will give him the next set of soft. Oh, we had one set of softs reserved, I think. Oh, I guess the last qualifying is when it's reserved. Now, I think whatever you... If you make it to Q3... Oh, that's what the rule is on tires. If you make it to Q3, don't you have to start with the tire you qualified on? That's what I think I've been getting mixed up. Okay, let's go ahead and move on to the final round of qualifying. But yeah, I don't know what's going on with Ricardo in terms of his
radio's good
contract. 40% chance of rain, 21% chance of rain. Everyone's going to be on the track here in just a minute. If we rush out here, we might be able to get in front of everyone this time. We didn't really do it last time. We still ate the traffic. Ba-ba-bum. So I don't know if Ricardo is going to a new team. I do know that Fernando Alonso is moving up to take over in Aston Martin from Sebastian Vettel because, of course, he's retiring at the end of this season. So a little bit of moves there. Kevin coming up on the last of his run. And 116.42. 116.19 by Russell. So we're only 0.2 off the leader. Not too shabby, my friend. Let's wait for everyone else to make their run before I send Kevin out again. I mean, we have to start the race on these softs anyways, right? Let's see if we can get one more fantastic run with a brand new set of soft tires. Oh, one thing that I did show when I had my freaking power outage, the tire performance. Did we talk about that? I'm kind of like, everything's blurring together, but currently, I think I'm looking for the race data, the track data. It's not shown here, but the medium tires are currently performing better than the soft tires by 0.2. So something to keep in the back of our minds. Let's go ahead and send out K-Mag again. We're still kind of sitting mid-table. This is not bad. I mean, I'm still happy with the top 10 start. The farther up, the farther up we start, of course, the more that someone else is going to have to work in order to catch up to us and pass us, right? So the idea is that we want to be deep in the points. We're going to get a nice points run here. No improvement in time there. And here comes the last of the drivers out for Q3. Survey says session end. A little bit awkward that it kind of stops there and flops to the pit lane. So Charles Leclerc has pole. It looks like Carlos Sainz. So yeah, Ferrari has locked out pole position here at their home race in Italy. We've got Red Bull as the row 2. Row 3 is split with Lewis Hamilton and Valtteri. We've got George Russell, Fernando Alonso. We did, in fact, qualify better than Esteban Ocon with Alpine. We have AlphaTauri way down there, where I like to see them, not in 10th place. So I am very happy to see our current competition down so deep in qualifying results.
The time has come to fight it out.
Fight it out.
Race day.
Haas proved quite resourceful during qualifying.
Yes, we did.
That puts them in a very good position to make the
Thank you so much, Crew and Shandok, for noticing all the effort that we put into this. Now we don't care about AlphaTauri. All right, let's get forward a little bit to the race. So, what do we have going for us right now? Q3 has ended. This is going to be the starting position. Awesome stuff. Our sponsors, we can guarantee a slot here in the race. We could say that we are going to get at least... Mick, I'd be happy with 15th. Kevin, how much would we make off this? First place. Yeah, that's not going to happen. I don't think I'm going to promise any kind of a position gain. Not quite confident yet enough in the car. I don't think this is a fluke. I do think we're going to keep this performance throughout the race, but you never know. I'm mostly not confident in myself. Can I take a look at tire usage? Post-practice report. Pre-race report. Yep, there's the qualifying results. Here are the expected strategies. Again, soft into hard, and then we've got, medium into hard, and then hard into soft tire, and then a two-stopper. Here is the tire performance. This is what I was trying to reference earlier. So the medium tires are still at a 116.22, while the softs are 116.24. The mediums, of course, will last a little bit longer. We also won't quite lose as much lap time from that tire degradation. However, the hard tires you're losing quite a bit. So, with that being said, maybe I really need to find out do we have to run 2 different tire compounds? Is that a rule? I did not see that in the rule requirements. Let's talk strategies. Because if we didn't, right, wouldn't it just make sense to roll? I mean, that actually would work. Yeah, that would absolutely work, and we're saving a little bit of time. There's nothing here that says, that's warning me. Ah, there it is. Race requirement. We do have to use 2 different sets of tire compounds. Okay, thank you, game thing, for warning me about that. Which does put us in a bit of a predicament, because we can either do... We can either run really aggressively. Although I think he's going to crash out if we do that. We can run aggressively on both sets of tires, and then have a hard tire at the end. Sorry, soft tire at the end of the race. That's still wasting so much time. That's not going to work out. I think we're going to probably wind up keeping the suggested strategy here. 123.28, 123.05, 123.07. So a hard into a soft seems to be the best strategy overall. Because it's just, yeah, if you're on the medium tires, there's just no way to lock in. Like, the mediums are the better performing tire, right? But they only last a set amount of laps, where it doesn't fit into the strategy well anywhere else. I do think the medium into hard might make a little bit more sense. This would set us up to respond well to a safety car. Why don't we try... We'll try Mick on a more conservative strategy. The mediums do so much better. Let's try a medium into hard, and then just kind of see what we get in terms of race results. For Kevin, the hard into soft is telling us that it's the better strategy. Hard into soft is going to be 123.05. No precipitation estimated on track. We do have a fairly accurate, like 70% confidence rating or something like that with our weather. So, wonder if the soft tires respond better to a better rubbered-in track. Track grip is going to be continuing to improve the entire race. I mean, according to the data is telling us that this is the best strategy. Hards into softs. We're kind of really planning for that nice, long Kevin Magnussen conservative. You know, he's able to make his tires last a little bit longer. So I really do think we can last right up until before lap 50. We don't want to go too much before 50 because we are going to risk losing, you know, at the end of the race, kind of really falling off. Alternatively, we move into a medium set earlier and we have Kevin being a little bit more aggressive on his hards. 122.57. Is that better or worse? 122. That was better, actually. Hang on. You're not giving me the best race strategies. So if we do this, setting an aggressive pace, we're doing a 122.5758. Yeah, so we're saving about 0.07 of a second. The total race time. I mean, I'm really kind of probably apples to oranges here. I don't know. Let's aim for hards into mediums. Again, 100% chance of a safety car. Historically, don't know what that turns into in terms of game mechanics, right? So let's plan for some alternate strategies here if this doesn't work out. We are starting on the mediums. On the hard. Let's remove you from this. So let's say we have a crash before lap 20. Or, sorry, before lap 30. We could put down the mediums into mediums into soft, probably. 23.29. We'll probably wind up doing this on the fly, but we have the advantage of the space bar, right? The other teams have, you know, they plan these strategies out ahead of time because you don't have any time to react. You have to have all this data kind of done and dusted. So not a whole lot you can do there. I don't know. We'll make that our plan B for funsies. We'll start out on our plan A's. We are starting on a new fresh set of hards. Thank you. We are starting out on a new fresh set of mediums. Yes, just double checking that we aren't on some kind of a used compound. Okay. Ready to go, my friends. Let's do it. Now, keeping in mind... Oh, the strategy doesn't actually seem to apply here. So let's go ahead and make sure that we know that we're setting Kevin up to aggressive. He is on an aggressive strategy in order to burn through the hards, but we're trying to make him be more aggressive in order to counteract the fact that the hards perform worse, right? That's the goal.
There we see Kevin Magnussen. And it's Schumacher as the second driver today.
There we see a driver.
In anticipation of this, the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. And it's lights out and away we go.
All right, we're off to the races. Kevin Magnussen again starting in 9th place. Let's take the over-the-shoulder cam here and see how he does. Very nice right off the gate. We did pass Fernando Alonso. Going into turn one.
That's one.
It is one, buddy. It is one. Why don't we stay aggressive out of the gate? Let's go ahead and deploy. Attack, aggressive.
Mode push.
Everyone else, I'm assuming, is on mode push out of the gates. Vettel overtakes Mick. No worries, buddy. No worries.
From Alpine.
You've got the speed. You've got the performance. We're way better than Alpine, my friend. You've got this. Come on. Just don't frickin' send it. You know what? Pulling back a little bit. Pulling back a little bit. I'm remembering a time when we were on camera with Kevin as we yeeted into the back of Mick Schumacher or vice versa because one of them was on the full attack command. So let's be a little bit cautious here. All right. I think what we'll do is we'll come back to a defend strategy, which means he's going to use his DRS to defend against... Huh. That's not like engine, is it? Okay, that's just like a camera sun glare. Trying to go around the outside, probably not going to work. Tires getting a little bit warm. Let's go come down a little bit to standard, cool the tires off for just a second. Let the grid settle in. I kind of like how much back and forth there is as they're approaching turns, like trying to see if you can to dummy a pass overtake attempt or something like that. I don't particularly know if it works in the engine or not, but you do see it in real life a lot. You'll see the drivers yeeting around from side to side of the track. We're kind of staying there with with Alpine. There is the other Alpine on our booty though. We got to be a little bit careful about that. What I'd like to do is combine our first big push. In fact, let's go ahead and harvest a little bit of fuel if we can, or energy rather.
DRS
yeah, this is what I'm looking for.
DRS
the DRS. I want the DRS on the next stretch of DRS zone. Yeah, they can't quite overtake us in the straight so far. Unless they just absolutely send it. I wonder if the aggression factor plays any part in decision making as well. If you have a hyper aggressive driver, do they pull the old, was that Danny Ricciardo or was it Verstappen back in the day when they just kind of sent it into the corner, braking super late? What I'm looking for is the track. I'm trying to find the track info. Yes, so the start-finish straight is where we have the DRS zone. So one of the last couple turns before the end of the circuit is when we're going to get the DRS detection. So we need to make sure we are within a second of Fernando Alonso. We are pretty early on in this lap, so let's just go ahead and step it up just a notch or so. Again, continuing to try to harvest energy. And I will go ahead and step it up just a notch to bring down that gap. Oh, we are actually, sorry, we're within a second. We're fine. Didn't mean to do that this early. I'm misreading the thing here. So we're 0.5. We're half a second away from Fernando. So what I'm going to try to do is have everything, like look at that. We're building up our energy. We're having a really powerful, ready for a really strong lap here. We're going to get the DRS kicking in somewhere around the start-finish line. So I'd like to start making my approach probably after the last corner here. So let's go ahead and step it up. We're going to go full attack. Push, push. Neutral, so you can use a little bit of our ERS. We're going to try to save the ERS for...
Copy that.
Maybe right here towards the end of the circuit, the lap. Yeah, let's go ahead and deploy to catch up. We are 0.7 behind, so we're still within a second. So here comes the DRS detection zone. We are going to get DRS in a minute. What if it like flashes yellow to indicate that yes, you are going to get DRS? Does not do anything. All right, so here we go. We should be on full push here. We're deploying. We're going to have DRS. Car behind also has DRS. I don't think Fernando, he does have it. You can see the actual wing is down there. I was kind of hoping for him not to have it. Let's keep these settings on. See how he does for this lap. Now we are competing against people who are probably on. Oh, actually a lot of people started on the hards here. Interesting. Let's keep the aggression up. Let's have the ERS only on when he's confident he can make the overtake. We'll keep the settings pretty aggressive for the moment. See if we can stay close to Fernando. Overtake. Schumacher made a pass on Vettel there in the back, so he's up to 16th place. Nicely done, Mick. You're doing the best you can, buddy. Understandable that, you know, honestly, though, the more we look at that performance difference and quality, I am definitely thinking about making a replacement for Mick in the next season. Some of you did provide some comments and suggestions in terms of drivers who would go around the inside of the chicane, outside in the first turn, but inside of the second turn, that's where we need to be. Did we make the pass stick?
Nice work, Kev.
I can't tell. Where's he at? I think he's right next to us, or is he way behind? Did he wipe out?
Haas with an overtake there.
Magnussen overtook Alonso, and then Mick locked up.
Okay,
that's a bit of a bummer. ERS is drained. Yeah, let's go ahead and step off a bit. We're pretty aggressive right now. Let's bring it back just a touch. Still doing pretty good on tire usage. Fastest lap. We just managed to get the fastest lap on hard tires. Fantastic job, Kev. Nicely done. Meanwhile, Schumacher is now down into 20th place. Bit of a bummer. I don't even have him on an aggressive command right now. So what I was talking about before the race started, we did get... Who ran wide here? Did you run wide again? Mick?
I think we've had a car run wide.
Pierre. Okay, Pierre Gasly ran wide on turn 16.
Look at this. It's Pierre Gasly.
That really wasn't too bad, to be honest, compared to our bit of a mix-up. So he's way off the pace right now. Like, Mick is just having his own day back here. What a bummer. God, I almost want to retire the freaking car and save some of the parts. If we're an American team, maybe it would make sense to recruit an American driver. So I think somebody named Sargent was one of the drivers that was suggested. I did get a little bit of a pop-up before this race about a young talent who's like 19 years old, really high improvement factor that I do have our team scouting. And then we got the results back from Teo Pourchaire. I can't remember the other driver's name that we were scouting, but the other driver, not Teo Pourchaire, but the other driver actually was 19 years old and kind of better across the board than Mick Schumacher, also with a high level of adaptation. So I think we might want to secure them for our driver in the next season. I might kind of aggressively make that happen earlier. I don't think you can replace drivers, but I don't know, maybe you can. Maybe we just pay the contract fee and we move on with a brand new driver in order to kind of recover some of this season. All right, lots of talking, not really a lot going on at the moment. We are in 8th place, nice and happy. Let's go ahead and go up to the overall strategy view, the bird's eye view here. We're on lap 6 out of 63. No weather in sight. And I kind of think what I'd like to do is pull in, not from the leader, I want the gap in front, the interval in front. We're about 1 second behind Valtteri. So I'm going to try to work the... Ooh. Uh-oh.
Cover that.
Oh, okay, we're just out of charge. I'm going to try to bring down the interval between us and Valtteri Bottas here and try to catch up to this next pack. But I'll give you a bit of a mid-race update in a few more laps.
Was that a lock-up on the track?
All right, so a little bit later in the race, we're on lap 11. Unfortunately, I was kind of broken away from the pack in front, so we definitely had a gap between us and Valtteri, and therefore we got caught up by our own pack. But that's okay, because now we, at the end of this lap, should have DRS, where Alonso does not. So as long as we stay within 1 second of the car in front,
Kev, if you've got some margin, try to increase the pace a little
we
bit.
are still on harvesting, so I'm not really using that ERS. So I'm going to save a little bit if I can, but ideally we want to be 1 second behind Fernando as we go into the end of this lap. But I'm going to have to deploy this now. We need to catch up a little bit and close the gap. Make sure we stay in second. Mick's holding firm back there on 18th place. I'm not really putting a lot of attention other than the fact that we've got a lot of, I guess, extra fuel. A little bit strange that it says +8 laps. I'm guessing that calculation is not so much accurate. But as we come into the final couple turns, here is where the ERS detection zone is, the DRS detection zone. And we managed to break away from Esteban Ocon, which means I don't think he's going to get DRS here. No DRS for Alpine. We should have the pass. A little bit aggressive there on the on the weaving back and forth. The hardest part is that this is just gonna happen every lap. Like,
Okay,
we
good
get
job,
in
Kev.
front, and then let's go ahead and harvest. Come off it a little bit. We can
Charge
stay a
on.
little bit aggressive.
Copy that.
Unless we manage to break a full second in front of Fernando,
Haas with an
he's going to then
overtake.
get a little bit of an increase here at the end of the lap, and then the next lap likely will pass us. So my hope is that the Alpine team here can get in each other's way enough that they let us break away, but it's kind of weird to be in open air by yourself. Like, most of the time you're going to be in a pack with other cars. The race right now is still Charles Leclerc, Perez, Sainz, Verstappen, and then we've got Hamilton and Russell in 5th and 6th place. So we are not coming up on our pit window for quite some time. So we'll just keep doing what we're doing. Again, we did plan for an aggressive strategy. So I'm going to keep Kevin on the aggressive strat. We are kind of reducing that lap time, playing around with our fuel to make sure that I try to conserve a little bit to help fend off any pass attempts. But again, like I mentioned, we're coming to the end of the lap. Fernando is definitely close enough. It's likely, if we go ahead and just manually deploy this now, it's likely that he's going to be able to pass us here on this front straight because his wing's going to go down in a second. There it is. Gets a pretty huge speed boost. Can we hold him off to the front of the straight, to the corner? I think we can, actually. He didn't get it in this turn, or this lap, but likely he's going to be able to get it on the next lap. So there's not a whole lot we can do other than maybe just harvest for a while. And
Charge on,
next
please.
time we
Copy that.
get behind and get the chance to overtake, we can keep that and extend
More lifting
that
coast,
power
please.
and hopefully break away more than a second. That'll be my goal for the next few laps. Okay, a couple laps later, pretty much what I was talking about. We did manage to get past. We held them off for a lap. I did kind of coast for a bit, harvest some energy. So now we just had a lap, our second lap behind Alpine. And now, because of the DRS at the front straight, we are in a really good position to overtake at the end of this lap. So what I'm going to do is
If
try
you've
to
got
make
some
sure we
margin,
keep the
try to
gap
increase
very
the pace a
close.
little bit.
We are in the same tire, by the way, so Fernando and ourselves are going to be going to around about lap 40 or something together before we pit. We take a look at the strategy, yeah, like 38 or so. While Esteban behind us is on a different strat, so I'm not terribly worried about him. We want to keep Fernando in front, very, very close. We are moving into the detection zone here in just a second. By the way, Mick's not doing too bad. I've not really given Mick any commands. He's just kind of doing his own thing back there. I'm letting him... I'll give a little overtake in case he's happened to be close to... He's actually leading the pack right now, so maybe a little bit of a deployment. I'll give his some love and attention here in just a minute, but this is where we want to go ahead and gun it. Let's go ahead and deploy the
Come on, you
ERS.
can do this.
We're going to have DRS, ERS, all the acronyms. So what I want to do is blow by Fernando and try to get up a second in front. That's my goal. So if we can break a second,
Nice work.
that's what we're trying to work for. We want to break that, increase that separation enough where he can't get DRS going into the front straight. Then we'll just have
Haas
nice,
with an
clean air
overtake.
and not a lot of drama. Up to a 0.7 gap now. Trying to break this up to a 1 second gap before the end of the turn, before the end of the lap. Ocon is going to be pitting soon. Most of the leaders are going to be pitting soon, so it's going to be us, Sainz, and Valtteri as the top three. Pretty exciting. For a second, we'll be in the top podium positions, and then everyone crashes out, and I don't know, we managed to stay there. Who knows what's going to happen. 9 second gap between us and Valtteri, And there's the 1 second gap going into the detection zone with Fernando Alonso. So I'm going to go ahead and say, let's cut down to neutral. 1.6 seconds is pretty healthy. I don't want to send it into the wall, but I will keep him at an aggressive pace. So this means that we have broken away from the Alpine crew. They're going to have DRS with each other, which honestly, if you're working as a team, you can use that to just, I'm trying to think of the right word, not Velcro, but you're yo-yoing yourself, right? So one driver gets the advantage and then the other driver gets the, so some car every lap is getting a little bit of a performance boost. As long as you're not fighting each other, they could bring the time down between us. But anyways, we're on lap 18. That's pretty early on. Taking a little bit of TLC view over on Mick. I've not looked at him too much this race. He is doing pretty good with his tire management strategy. Who's he behind? Nobody. Yuki Tsunoda by a year. 6 seconds in front of Yuki, or behind Yuki. Yuki is 9 seconds behind Lando. And then Zhou Guanyu is behind us. So I think we can be a little bit aggressive for a bit. Try to improve some lap times here.
Pushing.
And we'll go ahead and just say let's deploy the DRS for, or ERS for a bit to get a little bit of a gap between us and Zhou Guanyu by the end of this lap. Kevin Magnussen again with an impressive fastest lap time. We're in 8th place on hard tires, and we keep picking up the fastest lap. We're kind of tossing it back and forth between us and Leclerc, and I think Verstappen had it for a minute as well. Not too shabby though. We did break away from Zhou Guanyu. I'm going to send him back to a standard pace. But we have a gap there, so they can't use DRS to catch up with us. Meanwhile, Magnussen has maintained his lead over Fernando Alonso and crew. So hoping we just stay nice and smooth, get clean air, make those timings. And really, I'm not trying to get first. I'd love to get first place. But again, our goal is to simply survive and get in the top 10. We really want some points here. Ahead of Gasly. That's our main objective. All right, so we're starting to hit some pit traffic here. We can see that a lot of people are pitting. We've changed a lot of positions, of course, but we're still on the hards. We still are going to have to pit. This is our optimal pit window now, or pit lap for Mick. So if we go into pit options here, we should be switching over to the hard tires. We'll go ahead and cue that up, and we'll go ahead and pit this lap. We'll give him a very aggressive push for the remainder of the lap.
So we'll box now, box.
Copy, box.
Boxing this lap, my friends, so send it with everything you've got. Meanwhile, up here in 4th place, look at us go. Look at us go. Who is still on soft tires? Medium tires. That's Russell. George Russell still on medium tires, so he's still going to have to pit. Perez is on new tires. He is on new hard tires, so he's going to overtake us. That's fine. We are expecting to get overtaken by quite a few drivers here. Meanwhile, though, Kevin is sticking to the plan. His tire wear is kind of right on pace with what we're expecting. Aren't we able to see tire data somewhere here too? Like an average lap time of the tires? You can see everyone's pretty much into the mediums and hards. Mick's still on his medium set as well. Reports, circuit info, compound performance. Yeah, nothing has really changed here. I was hoping we get live tire data. I mean, there's not like an average lap either. Interval, leader, last lap, 120, 121. Aren't we like in qualifying like 116s, right? Do we still have the fastest lap? We do.
Box.
There's the box.
Okay, understood.
Command.
White line, white line.
Let's go ahead and watch Mick as he pits. Nothing terribly exciting, but, you know, still. End of the pit box. Another car has ran wide. Yellow flag in Sector 2. Gonna really quickly take a pause. I don't think that's terrible. It's just a car going wide as opposed to a car completely crashing. That was a pretty decent stop. No, it wasn't. 3.5. No, it wasn't terribly good. 3.5 is not a good stop time. I think I looked it up, by the way. I mentioned in one of the first races what the record was, and I think right now it's Red Bull with like a 1.9 second stop. That's that point where the car comes to a complete stop and everything has changed. So yeah, we got a lot of room for improvement.
Copy.
So far, so good, friends. Just to give you a quick update, we are getting passed, but that's okay. Remember, our competition is Fernando Alonso, so we're hoping he stays in traffic and gets distracted while I don't really care if Charles Leclerc passes us. He is the race leader. He is really fighting Perez and Sainz. Actually, Sainz managed to get out of that. Who got the better end of this? Perez did, actually. Sergio Perez got out of the pit somehow faster than Leclerc. Leclerc was leading the race, so I imagine on the radio there's a little bit of drama and angst. Although maybe we're the ones that caused the problem. We're in his way right now. He still has not managed to pass us in 2 or 3 laps, and he does have DRS, which is, you know, kind of entertaining, not gonna lie. All right, so we're coming up on our pit window with Kevin Magnussen. Remember, most of the other drivers are doing a longer, I think they're doing a longer hard tire into soft tire strategy. We opted to aggressively use up our hards in order to fit in the soft tires, which lap by lap perform better than the softs. The mediums perform better than the softs. So I'm going to have Kevin burn up a little bit more of the tire. We're kind of rocking out here. Our competition is Fernando Alonso. Keep that in mind. So he's actually 4 seconds plus 1 second. So he's about 5 or 6 seconds behind. I'm going to keep us on neutral ERS. I want to save that for whatever comes out of the pits.
Charge off.
We'll keep that a bit neutral for the moment. And yeah, I mean, we've got some room in the strategy. Kevin's been doing a really great job of tire management. So all I'm trying to do right now is just make some decent laps. That's what I'm kind of trying to do with this, you know, attack, this aggressive strategy. I will pit him on the optimal time. Maybe we'll conserve a little bit of fuel to go for a fastest lap towards the end of the race. Any extra points, by the way, always helpful. Okay, here comes our box time. It is time for Kevin to drop in. Again, we are going a little bit ahead of everyone else, so I expect to lose quite a few positions here. I don't know, 26 seconds will put us somewhere. God, it's so hard to figure out. We're about 30 seconds behind the 27 seconds behind the leader, so 30 seconds more. Oh, math is so hard. I think in front of Zhou Guan Yu is where we're going to end up here. We'll see if my paper napkin math is accurate. Come on, buddy. Best lap time ever. Oh my God, they're like just crawling with the tire change. 3.41, 3.40, not the best time. We definitely lack quite a bit in the pit lane department. We are coming out though in front of Norris, so I was completely wrong on my estimate. Nicely done. Completely fine with that. And we're competing against Ocon again. And that makes sense, right? Once all the pit stops are said and done, we were behind, or in front of, Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon a while ago. Alonso still has to pit, which means we're likely going to be... Actually, I think we're in a really good spot on him. He's gone really long, I think, for the hards. So this is our last set of tires, though. These do have to last until the end of the race. I'm going to go ahead and start him out on a standard, kind of being a little bit calm for a bit, seeing where the track and everyone ends up, and we'll be more aggressive if we need to a little bit later on. This will be a good example, by the way, if our gearbox is showing a bit of wear. Ah, there's the warning, by the way, about gearbox. I was wondering when that would start to come up. So we do have... Esteban ran wide. We do have one minor damaged part. Interesting. There's the gearbox warning. Okay, good to know. So that means that's going to have to get replaced at the end of next race as well. Or this race, I mean, before next race. Oh, I forgot what I was literally trying to say. This is going to be a good test if our medium tires are doing any better than softs and hards. A lot of people are on hards. Theoretically, per lap, we should be getting quite a bit of performance every lap. So our time sheet, we should be catching up with George Russell. That's the goal, right? We're going to try to make up. It's a lot of time to make up, 8 seconds, but I've saved a lot of energy here. So I'm hoping I can kind of maybe use this for a few laps and bring the gap down with George. Vettel will help out because we can lap him, but you can still get DRS off of a car that has been lapped. As long as any car is in front of you, you can get the DRS. All right, friends, this is probably going to be one of the last updates before the end of the race. We're pretty much back where we started. We are in front of the Alpine team. We're about 2.3 seconds ahead. That's roughly where we were a while ago. Unfortunately, they are getting a bit of a pull off of Sebastian Vettel. I keep seeing the screen flicker white, which makes me think there's lightning. I keep going back to this view to find the lightning. I'm guessing it's just an artifact. When you're in this particular view, there's a bit of a flash on the screen. Hoping that it's not my computer on the fritz. So Alonso has closed the gap. He is on, what, medium tires? He's on the soft tires. However, we should have a performance increase according to the data, unless Pirelli is letting us down. And I've kind of been conservative on all the performance. I really want to make sure this set lasts, but we do have a little bit of wiggle room here. The race is going to end around 40 or 50% tire life, so I guess we can go ahead and play a little bit more aggressive.
Kevin, you've got some margin. Try to
We
increase
definitely want to
bit.
keep the margin up
Go
on
for that.
Alonso. I have been kind of keeping the battery really high too. So what we're trying to do is set ourselves up for the end game defense. I'm not going to catch up to George Russell. There's just no way. So at the moment, what we're planning on doing is keeping this all the way through the end of the race. We want to keep Fernando at least a second behind, and that's pretty much my strategy for the end of the race. Meanwhile, by the way, I should go ahead and give some love here to Mick. He's been doing pretty well, sitting down there at 15th. Remember, he was last place for a bit, so it wasn't the easiest thing to deal with. He might be able to catch up to and past Yuki Tsunoda.
If you don't need it, no lift and coast.
So quiet. We'll go ahead and see if we can't close the gap on him, but really my eyes are going to be focused up here on Kevin Magnussen and the Fernando Alonso battle. Going to be a little bit careful on fuel, by the way. We are getting a warning that our fuel range is low, and that's kind of fair. We're a little bit under the minimums for the end of the race. We probably want to build in a wee bit of a barrier just in case we have to kind of push extra to keep Fernando at bay. So while we have a lead,
Okay, we're out of the DRS.
let's build up lift and coast a bit to conserve fuel. We're still about 1.6 seconds. We've got about 10 laps or so remaining in the race. Mick Schumacher has caught up to Yuki Tsunoda. We're at about, we got 6 or so laps left. No, words are hard. We got 7 or so laps left. Mick is right on the bumper of, where'd he go? He actually just passed Yuki Tsunoda because we did get that DRS zone, which was really, really great. Nicely done. I'm going to set him to defend usage on ERS, which means he should automatically deploy the ERS in order to defend against the overtake. Meanwhile, we've got a little bit extra fuel, so let's push. Oh, we don't have any ERS. Never mind. I don't really know if I want to spend time harvesting. I think I'd rather just push. We got the room to push on the fuel. We got room to push on the tire as well. Meanwhile, Kevin is still, get out of here. Kevin is still 1.8 seconds ahead of Fernando. So we are going into the end of the race right on plan. Oh, Charles Leclerc ran wide. He actually had like a 17-second lead or something crazy. Perez this is going to be a fight to the finish then for the leaders. And if they crash out, that'd be best for everybody. More points for us, please. Thank you. Pierre Gasly is thankfully 22 seconds away from the points. I'm happy with that. That means that the AlphaTauri team is not going to get any points this race if everything stays the same as it is. Okay, friends, we're down to about 3 laps or so, so I'm going to bring you back in here for the rest of the race. Alonso is about 2 seconds or so behind. We are conserving and lifting and coasting as much as possible. We are right on the bumper in terms of our fuel usage, so we left it really, really tight to the end of the race. This is the last lap. I probably should take this view off and show us something a little bit different. So Kevin's got a lot of speed here. Let's go ahead and drop it down to standard. We're going to use and deploy the rest of our ERS. Are we on the last lap, or is Leclerc on the last? Oh, I meant to do a fastest lap attempt too. My fault. I highly doubt unless we're on a run. Can I see how our current timings are? No, we're not really anywhere near that. I meant to leave a little bit of a room to make a run for fastest lap again, but that's okay. That's fine. I think actually the leader's on the fastest lap. Maybe we are not on the fastest lap. So, can we not deploy that? We could try for an end of race fastest lap. Again, you're losing weight. We were up to like what, 50 kilograms of fuel or 80 or 100. So you're using up the fuel. Your car is getting lighter, and therefore you're making up for that lost grip on the tire by a lighter car overall. So I don't know. Why don't we go ahead and just deploy this and try to make a really, oh God, please don't crash, a really aggressive run.
Copy.
This is the end, but I'm pretty sure we're on the last lap. When it flips over to 63, the leader is on the last lap. That's why I've been getting so confused so easily. It does look like it's going to be Charles Leclerc, by the way. Fernando Alonso is still 1.5 seconds behind. We are just on the edge of fuel usage. I think we're okay. I mean, we're lifting and coasting, and maybe I can just balance it out and go a little bit harder for this fastest lap. First place is taken. Oh, this is probably not smart. We're down to 1 kilogram of fuel. We actually might run out of fuel. Why don't I not make a run here? This is probably not smart. Increase lift and coast. We still have quite a few turns left. Charles Leclerc is the winner. Perez, Sainz, Verstappen, Hamilton, Bottas here, George Russell, and then mighty K-Mag. We are on fumes at the moment. Oh my god, please make the rest of this lap. Please make the rest of this lap. 1.7 seconds ahead. I assume if we run out of gas, we coast the rest of the way. Down to 0 kilograms of fuel. Yikes, this was tight. Yikes. I think we're going to make it, my friends. All right, nicely done. That was a better race in some respects.
Checkered flag.
Than it has been for us in the past. Kevin with 8th place overall, so Haas Racing did get some points this race. Not a ton, but still, AlphaTauri got none. So I'm okay with that. We also managed to definitely steal a couple of fastest laps there. We did really well in practice, so that means, in my opinion, Kevin is at the caliber of driver that could keep us on the mid-table. We're definitely going to have to support him, though, I think with the driver change, at least by next year for sure. I mean, we could make it early if we wanted to. So let's take a look at some of the after-race results. I don't think you're upset, are you?
Showing us how it's done. A great result.
It was a great result. Backflip. Okay, no backflip. Oh, God. Completely part of the show, my friends.
This is a good result for Haas. More than enough to satisfy the whole team.
Yes, the whole team, nothing but the team. Mostly, though, we're satisfying the board of directors. So we did manage to get how many points now? We managed to get 4 points. So we are chomping down that lead from AlphaTauri. That is exactly what we were hoping for. I wouldn't mind having both drivers within the points, but I think at the moment, all we're going to be able to do is really throw Kevin up there and probably keep the best parts on his car. And unfortunately, Mick is just not quite able to jump up there in terms of quality of drivers. I mean, if the car parts are the same, then you definitely have to attribute that to the driver, right? That would be my assumption. Let's go ahead and continue into the after-race portion. We did get $3.4 million, and we did also manage to get a performance incentive. No, we did not. We didn't get that. We are on the run for the qualifying streak, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Really quick, I want to talk to you, because again, I lost power at the start of this episode, so I had talked about a few things. Next up, by the way, is Miami in 11 days. Circuit information, do we have a chance of rain? Partly cloudy and then sunny on race day. 30 degrees is a pretty hot track. I don't know what that does, other than probably increases the rate of wear on your tire. Powertrain stuff. We have to talk about gearboxes by the next race as well. Post-race overview. Charles Leclerc managed to take the win. Ferrari is comfortably in the lead of the Constructor Championship. 168 to 94. 41 points. No, sorry, they got 41 points, so they're way ahead. Way ahead. 172 points. 72 points ahead of Red Bull. I don't know. Math is hard, guys. They're above Red Bull. That's all that matters. And it's really just Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz fighting it out over the Drivers' Championship. I mean, nothing's in the bag per se. There could be more developments as the season goes, but so far, Ferrari is off to a commanding lead. The board is still medium. They're happy about race performance, happy about Imola, not so much about Melbourne or Jeddah. And then Sakir, they're delighted. And then, of course, Italy will be probably a pretty good result as well, opinion. What else did I want to talk about? Staff, no. Cars, no. Drivers, yes. So, scouted drivers. This is what I wanted to show you. So, we finished our scouting of Jack Doohan. And Jack Doohan has a pretty decent set of stats here. If we're going to compare him with, say, Mick Schumacher, which I've got selected, you can see that it's honestly a pretty even split. We've got an overall rating that's slightly in Mick's favor. However, Jack is younger. He's 19 years old. He's compared to 23-year-old Mick Schumacher. Both of them have high growth potential, better braking, better cornering, not great smoothness, really bad on smoothness. And I think that's kind of really important from a driver stat perspective. So if we go into Mick, we take a look at smoothness. This is reducing tire wear while racing. So can push harder and run longer stints on each set of tires. However, if we bring this driver in early enough, we can help develop that smoothness point through these development points. So I imagine we'll have a bit of a rough season in terms of tire usage, but Yeah, I'd be pretty happy. I wonder if we want to bring him on as a reserve driver and start getting him some experience in this season. We can replace Pietro. I mean, as much as I love Mick, he's really not cutting it out. You know, he's not doing it this season. He's only on for 7 more months as well. So, what can we do with drivers? I've not experimented much with this yet. We are, by the way, scouting Zane Maloney, who was, I think I got a flag about him in my mailbox in terms of an up-and-coming driver. Zane Maloney here with high growth potential in F3, 18 years old. So we're going to see what his results are. I guess we shouldn't jump to... Oh, God, stop. I did not mean to... I did not mean to use that many days up. But yeah, we don't really know what the scouting department is going to tell us. Speaking of scouting department, let's swing over there real quick because I wonder if we couldn't make an improvement. How much would this cost? Only 1.3 million, and we would get an additional scout. Let's do it. I think that's going to really help Haas in the next couple of years is driving. I mean, we don't have a massive facility for improvements. So maybe scouting department, better drivers is going to be more important. So maybe no early moves on drivers until I kind of understand the system better. By the way, there was one more thing that was available, which was research. We did get the research option because we finished with the rule changes for the season. So I can't research side pods. If I remember correctly, side pods are getting a huge change. The chassis is getting a minor change. So as we're finishing our current design of side pods up in 6 days, I think we're going to get a different, like if we go in here to research, it's going to tell us that there's a major change coming. So what this, I think this helps you deal with the negative impact for the next season. That's my theory anyways. It also does use that testing facility time. So I don't know what's more important. Meanwhile, are we manufacturing anything? No. Do we want to manufacture stuff? Sure, we could. We are pretty rough on a gearbox. Probably want to make a change before the next race. We'll talk more about that here coming up. I think I'm at time, so I will wrap this episode up. Again, as a quick review, not too shabby. A low stock on suspensions, that's fine. I'll come back to that next episode. Exceeding expectations still. Nice. Confidence in you has grown quite a bit. So happy to see that we still haven't been fired by Gene Haas. Next up is here in the United States, down in Miami, Florida. Spicy, spicy, hot racing. Man, the United States loves its hot races. Miami, Texas, Las Vegas. Come on, come up to Maine. Go racing in Maine, guys. Go to Detroit. Bring back a Detroit race. That's what I want to see. The Detroit Grand Prix. That's what I'm going for. I'm from Detroit, so, you know, gotta bat for the home team. Hey, thanks for joining me for this episode, friends. I'll catch you again in the next one, though. Until then, take care. Holy crap.